Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today, check this out. We got the AIBAO. I guess it's the WALKERA. I think it's pronounced AIBAO or AIBAO. I'm not really too sure how to pronounce that, so forgive me if I get it wrong. And this is a smart GPS quadcopter, very similar to, say, a Phantom or something, but in a smaller form factor. This is like kind of a mini form factor, and you can use it with these two apps. So it's kind of cool. We're getting into maybe augmented reality with drones now, with the larger drones. And what you can do with this one is if you download the AIBAO Go app from the App Store, you can do kind of racing, and you can go through like virtual air gates and stuff, and your stats are all tracked online, and you can open up new levels and stuff. So that's one cool thing about this drone. And also this has kind of a ground station software called WALKERA Drone. I'm an Android guy, but the WALKERA Drone app was not available for Android, so I went ahead and made the investment and bought a new iPad Air. Now I think this was a good investment because I'm going to be using this for a lot of my other reviews and crafts, like the Phantom 4. If you might have seen, I recently reviewed the Phantom 4 and I was having some trouble with FPV glitching on the screen. A lot of people said it was my Samsung Tablet A underpowered tablet. So I'm going to be kind of revisiting the Phantom 4 with this iPad Air 2, and so I have no doubt that this will definitely be enough power to push that. And so if there are still issues, it's definitely not the tablet. Anyway, today is all about the AIBAO WALKERA AIBAO drone, and so let's go ahead and do it. We're going to do an unbox, we're going to do an inspection, we're going to do a setup, and then in the same video I'm going to go ahead and take this out to the park and do a full-on park flight, and also some pros and cons. So without further ado, let's go ahead, and here's the box. Let's go ahead and unbox this thing. It's got a 4K camera. Unfortunately, it's a fixed camera, so there's no gimbal attached. It does has an attachment on the bottom where it looks like you can put on a gimbal, but out of the box it doesn't look like it has any gimbal in this version. It's got GPS, it's got like a focus around point, flight mode, it's got waypoint features with that WALKERA drone app, it's got return to home, and it's got auto takeoff and landing is what it says on the box. So without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox this and get started. Okay, so just opening the top, kind of regular WALKERA kind of packaging where they have a nice decent box with some good foam. And the first thing we're greeted with is the manual on top, so the AIBAO manual, and we've got, looks like 2 sets of blades. So this is great. They're giving us 2 sets. I think this should be 2 sets unless there's 2 in each box. Let's just double check this. Yeah, so there's actually 4 blades, a full set in each box. So great job for WALKERA to give us 2 sets of blades. I think every quadcopter should give you 2 sets. Here's a little micro USB cable where we can connect it to the flight controller to make some changes, hopefully. Just a regular micro USB cable. Here's a flight battery. So this is interesting. This is a 7.6 volt, so a little bit higher voltage than the standard 7.4 volt 2S. 5200 milliamp hour. Wow, so that's a pretty small form factor for a 5200 milliamp hour, but I guess it is only 2S, and that's what that looks like. Looks like it's got an off-on switch on there, so there's no real button press to turn it on, and it looks like it's got like this little silicone tab for charging, which looks like it's going to be a little tough to open up, so I'm going to have to poke something in there to open that up to charge it. And it looks like it just slides into the back of the craft. Anyway, let's go ahead and take out, here's a little tool bag, 2 Allen wrenches, and a little open end wrench there. Let's go ahead and take out the AIBAO. And here it is. So it's a little bit kind of just jammed in here with a charging cable. There's the AIBAO. Here's a power brick. And this is cool. This is kind of like they're doing it kind of like what the Phantom 4 does, where they've got 1 power brick and you can charge the battery and the controller with the Y connector here. So that's very welcome. so you don't have to keep switching cables around. Here's the plug into your wall. You're just going to plug into the power brick just like that. Put that on the side for now. And it looks like the last thing in the box is the controller. So look at this thing. This is the what is this called? The F8. It said on the box what the controller was. Devo F8E controller. So it looks like that's everything in the box. If you'll notice, there is like 1, 2, 3 holders in here. So I guess you could use this box as a carrying case if you wanted to and carry like 3 batteries in there. But it looks like it only comes with 1, at least in my box. But look at this controller. So here's the F8E Devo controller. Does this thing look familiar to you? It does to me. This looks like almost exactly like a Phantom 4 controller. Of course, you know, different kinds of buttons, but that smooth fit and finish, that gloss finish, this very similar tablet phone holder bracket. It looks like we push this thing to the side, and it has that same kind of pneumatic almost feeling tablet clamp. We've got 2 antennas here on the top. We've got our holder for the clamp here, and this thing can basically just go all the way up like that. That's the total extent for the holder there. We've got our 2 sticks. We've got a home, return to home button. We've got a power button. And it looks like we have designated takeoff and landing buttons here. We have a gimbal pattern button, a gimbal return button, a photo and a video button here. These top things, they look like they might be triggers, but those are just blocked out. There's nothing you can do there. A little micro USB port on the back there, and then this one, I'm not sure what that is. Can't even really open that, but that's looks like it might be a trainer port or something. There we go. Yeah, so that looks like a trainer port on top. I didn't see any kind of trainer cable, but anyway, moving on. Looks like we have a little kind of a joystick here in the middle. I'm not sure if that'll be in use for this drone, but maybe that controls the gimbal, possibly, if you get the extra gimbal. We'll get to the craft in just a second. I just want to talk about the controller. Well, this is kind of interesting. This one kind of has a dual lockout function or a dual initiate function for all of its modes. So you slide this little knob here and you can feel it clicking into each mode. So all the way up is manual. 1 notch down is GPS. 1 more is motion, which is kind of WALKERA's sport mode. And then 1 more down is like the circle around point function. And not only do you have to click to each function, but you also have to push the button in once you get to that function to initiate it. So it's kind of a dual acceptance feature there. And on the controller, we're feeling that similar kind of rubber to what DJI uses, that grippy kind of rubber on the side. And this looks like a charge port where you'd plug in that plug into your controller to charge the internal lithium battery. On the bottom, these are not buttons. These are just little blockouts as well. These aren't used in this controller. Some more rubber grip on the bottom here. And this is actually a fan. When you turn this controller on, you can hear this fan moving. And this controller also has vibrational feedback. So pretty interesting. You can see some ports on the bottom for cooling here. And then it has this really nice looking aluminum holding bar. So a pretty solid looking controller. You know, WALKERA is really coming out with some interesting, good looking stuff. Of course, we'll have to see how it performs. The sticks feel okay, you know, spring loaded sticks. And this should be like a GPS altitude hold function when you release it. Anyway, that's the controller. It does have kind of this rubber, or not rubber, but it does have this plastic scratch proofing here. So let me just take this off real quick, just so you can really see it shine. Let me go ahead and turn this thing on real quick. So you just kind of hold the power, and it has that infamous WALKERA sound when it turns on. And there it is, kind of booting up and initiating. We can see we've got power levels from 10 to 100%, and it says WALKERA Devo F8E there on the bottom, lit up. And we can hear that fan. Let me try to get the fan close. So you can hear that fan on the microphone. It's an internal fan, so apparently this has the processing power that needs a fan. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off for a sec, holding in the power button. We get a beep and we're off. Okay, so that's the controller. Really nice looking controller. And here is the AIBAO. I actually did take this out of the box before, and my initial thoughts were that it had some kind of ground sensing sonar. So I actually kind of pushed on this, and these are just like little filler things. Apparently this version does not have any sonar. This is just an empty box here, and there's a circuit board underneath. So a little bit deceiving. I'm not sure if they're going to be coming out with one that does have sonar and possibly a gimbal. There's also a port here on the bottom. It's going to be kind of hard to take this off with my fingers. That's one thing about these guys. If they could have made these little silicone things a little easier to open if you don't have any fingernails, that would have been cool. It seems like all the stuff I'm trying to do is really hard to open unless you have some kind of tool to pluck open these silicone tabs. Anyway, camera on the front. They've got this little scratch proof plastic thing on the camera for shipping, and there it is. So that's a 4K camera. I do not think this thing's stabilized unless it's electronic stabilized somehow, but I didn't see that anywhere on the box. Anyway, there's a landing gear. You can't collapse this at all. It's just how it is, how it looks like this. It looks like this little notch here would be probably the compass, and a little micro SD card slot there on the bottom. You can see that. So you're gonna have to provide your own micro SD card. Here's the motors. So these are WALKERA. I'm not even sure what type of motors these are. I will have the link in the description on this guy so you can check the full specs and the pricing on it though. But anyway, another micro USB port on the drone, so you can change some parameters around if you wanted to. And here's where the battery goes in. Here's the light cups on the bottom, so very well visible from the side and from the bottom. You can see how it kind of protrudes a little bit. And that's about it for the drone. Let's go ahead and put the battery in. So it looks like this thing's got the acceptance port right here on the bottom. So you're going to put it in this way and then just slide it in, and it kind of clicks. So it's got cooling vents on the sides, cooling vents on the top of the arms, and I'm not seeing any cooling vents on the bottom of the arms, but it looks like everything's going to flow through and cool from here out of these ports on the bottom. So it looks like it should have decent cooling. One more thing I didn't mention is look at the kind of the sleekness on this. It looks like the gloss from like a Phantom 4. You see that how it has that high gloss on the top of the plastic here. I don't think any other part of the drone is that high of gloss, just the top part here, but really nice looking. They did a good job with the fit and finish, and just the aesthetics of this thing looks pretty cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and mount this stuff up. So mounting up the iPad on the controller here, just put it in the clamp, pull it down until you feel the snapping, and that's how that thing looks when it's mounted up. Now we're going to turn on the craft. So all we do is we turn the power on. Let's go ahead and turn the power on the controller first. And I know with WALKERAs you have to kind of turn the craft on not too long afterwards. There we go. Or it won't bind if you wait too long. So controller on first, craft on afterwards. Let's go ahead and let that thing boot up, and let's turn on the iPad here, and let's get into our app. So this is a brand new iPad. I just bought it for drone stuff, so I did have to make that chunk of an investment, but I think it'll be a good investment because I'll be using this for all kinds of reviews, so you guys can see better performance. Anyway, two apps I had already installed. So we have AIBAO Go, and this one, let's go into this one first. So you just click on the app and you can download this from the App Store. This is available on Android and Apple, but the other one didn't seem to be available for Android yet. So what I need to do is make sure I'm connecting. I want to go English. And it looks like this one has sound effects too in the app, so that's interesting. It has music. What I forgot to do is I need to connect to the AIBAO drone through the Wi-Fi settings first. So I'm going to go into the settings, and then I'm going to go Wi-Fi, and I need to look for the AIBAO. So Airbot Air 466 and Airbot Ground. The funny thing, when I looked at the manual previously, it says to connect to the Airbot Ground, but that doesn't make sense to me. So it doesn't really matter, it seems, which one you use. And the password is just 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Join. And it should be okay. So no internet connection, but we should be connected. Now we can actually pull up our app. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the app there and then restart the app. So let's go restart the AIBAO Go app. So this is the app where you can do kind of levels and racing. And if you can hear that here, let me turn it up a little bit. So it's kind of neat. It's got like its own little music in the app, and we can do free video mode. So if you didn't want to use like there's our Stormtrooper, and there's the Up Air 1 over there that I'm going to be reviewing pretty soon. But anyway, here is the app. So this is like the racing app, basic app. You can't do any ground station, waypoint function with this app, but you can just fly if you want to. It shows us our voltage on the bottom of the screen here. It shows us what mode we're in, and it shows us some stuff like how many meters high we are, and then how many meters we are away from home. And that's the extent of just the free flight flying on this app. The cool stuff, which I'll show you guys in the flight test, is going to be the battle and the free flight modes. Apparently you can also do battle with somebody else that has this drone. You can do kind of virtual battles, and you have like lasers you can shoot and stuff. So pretty cool. So say for example, just to show you what the racing looks like, kind of like a video game. You go in, you have levels you can unlock. You know, you have a course. It's going to be a virtual course, which I'll show you in the flight test. All kinds of stuff like that. So pretty neat, you know. It's kind of cool how they're expanding with augmented reality with larger drones, not just toy drones. And then I went into the collection, and this is kind of like an unlockable kind of, you know, other kind of course thing where you can finish these types of missions and it unlocks them for you. So really good, possibly for training and learning how to fly. So I'm going to get out of this here, and we're going to go into the WALKERA drone ground station software, which I actually have not gone into yet. So let me close this stuff up and go into the WALKERA drone. So I haven't actually gone into this yet. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and allow location, everything, and I haven't even made a username or anything, but it looks like maybe you have to make a username. Let me just go to connect. Let's see if it connects. Okay, yeah, wow. So it already connected. I didn't have to make any kind of account yet. But very similar, look up here. So similar to kind of the ground station software you'd see in maybe a Phantom or something. It's showing you the position hold mode. It's showing us how many satellites. What I noticed on this one, it's really poor satellites in the house. Some other possibly higher quality GPS units have way better satellites in my house. This one can only pick up 3 in my house, so very limited. It's showing us control. I'm not sure why it's crossed out there. It's showing us the HD signal, which would be the streaming signal. It's showing us our battery voltage, our time. It's showing us camera functions. We can do 2.7 or 4K here. We have all these photo size functions as well, and streaming rate. So, you know, if you're getting choppy streaming, you can either upgrade or downgrade the quality there. I have to have an SD card in there, obviously, but that's, you can take some pictures there. Very similar to like, you know, a Phantom style UI. We can go into mode, and that looks like our camera or our recording for video. Here we go. So Google Maps. Let's go ahead and see if we can get anything. So because we're in the house, look at this. So I'm having a little bit of location services issues where I cannot really do much. And it kind of looks like the slide to zoom out feature is a little wonky too. It's not very smooth. So perhaps something WALKERA can work on this app because it's a little weird. Anyway, there's our Google Maps on the bottom, and you can do all of these features. It looks like you can, of course, the GPS is going to have to be above a certain point for all this to work, but you can do an auto launch. You can do a return home just by pressing stuff on the screen. We can see our little FPV monitor, very similar to Phantom's. We can see that we can do round point circle fly. We can do waypoint flight. So let's see. So we can do a waypoint height. We have a slider here on top. We have a start and we have an exit, or we can add our waypoints. So for example, I just press this add button and you can see how I'm adding some waypoints. So it looks like it's a little weird on the map right now because I'm way the heck in the wrong spot and it's not letting me scroll over. So I don't know what's up with this right now. So we'll have to be exploring this a little bit more in the field. Let's go to this other one, waypoints, clear, add. Oh, okay, so this would be for multiple waypoints, it looks like. So click, yeah. So to see how I'm clicking around and we're doing a waypoint, and then you just press start and it should start your automated mission. So a little bit limited, but you still can do waypoints and you can adjust your height. It looks like all the way to 150 meters for a waypoint flight if you wanted to. Down on the bottom it's saying GPS unavailable. It is giving us our telemetry here, so distance, height, horizontal speed, vertical speed. So that's the telemetry you get, and this stuff should still be there when we just want to fly regular. We'll see all this telemetry. So really cool that they're packing all this into a mini craft like this. Well, we've got this thing up. Let's go ahead and see what the latency is like. If I grab the craft like this and we're looking at the screen, let's see what kind of latency we've got. So it looks to me like it's pretty quick. You know, for an FPV system, I can't say it's going to be this fast once you get out to distance, but you know, it's actually pretty quick. In a way, it's faster than the Phantom 4 I just reviewed. Just a little bit faster maybe at this distance. But that could also be I was using a different tablet as well. So not going to be great for close proximity flying and going through real obstacles, but that's why they have kind of the virtual obstacle system on this one, the augmented reality probably. But not bad for you know, Wi-Fi FPV type of connection. It's really not too bad of latency. We got this little option up top, and look at this. So we have all this different stuff. I'm going to go to English. I got to restart the app for that to take effect, but neat. So I could possibly change this to feet and miles. So let's try that real quick. Let's exit out of here, restart the app. Let's see if we change that to feet and miles. Yeah, so on the bottom here it changed to feet instead of meters. So that's cool. Most apps you can't do that, so I like that. So we got general, we got map. We can show airports, it looks like. We can do an offline map if we wanted to. We can download cities. Well, that's neat. It gives you option to do all that stuff. So that's pretty good, man. I'm liking that. User guidance. That doesn't seem to be doing anything at the moment. About. You can see our app version and our firmware version over here. Next tab, device. So waypoint height, 4 to 152 feet. So you can set the default waypoint height there. We've got our circle radius. So default circle radius, doesn't look like I can change that. It starts at 5 meters. RTL height, so that would be return to landing or return to home height. So you know, if it goes, I think this one, if it goes 25 meters or more farther away from you, then it will rise up to this height. But if it's within that 25 meter circle, it'll just come straight back. So you have to be careful. And I think they do that like if you're indoors or something, so you don't go up and it hits the ceiling. Anyways, you can adjust this height right here. I'm going to actually go and adjust it up to 30, which looks like it's maximum there, because I like having a little bit higher, raising up a little higher before it comes back. So that's our RTL height sensors, and here we go. So check this out. So very similar to like DJI stuff. It's telling us the compass offset, so that may be a little off, so I'm probably gonna have to calibrate that compass. Getting a little bit of a beep there, just warning us it's on and not being used like a lot of quadcopters do. But you can calibrate these functions: gyroscope, compass, accelerometer, and showing you the status of them. Next tab, RC. So RC feel. Wow, so we can adjust some PIDs, some rates here. Stick mode, I'm gonna go American. That's so we have throttle on the left. But you can choose, as you can see, we could choose from Japanese, American, Japanese 2, and Chinese type of stick modes. RFID. Not sure what this would be used for. Possibly something about the connection, controller connection, or wireless connection. SSID, so you can change your password, looks like, to connect to it. Gimbal, so apparently they're going to have an aftermarket gimbal, and you can adjust these settings as well. So video location, local or device. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe that's I have no idea what that means actually. Custom. Okay, here's where we can customize our controls. So it looks like I'm not sure why, but this one doesn't have rollers up here, and it's showing rollers on this screen. It's just showing all unused for this because I have no gimbal attached, possibly. Let's go ahead and go back. Gimbal speed, slow to fast, smoothness, low to high. So you can adjust those things. Looks like we're still getting a little bit of Chinese in there. So maybe a little bit of polish they can do on here. Gimbal follow, off or on. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but that would be possibly something to do with you know, the gimbal, how it would follow the craft, or maybe it would follow the user. Not too sure at this point. Battery, so looks like we can see our time left. Once we launch, we'll probably be able to see more of this, which I'll go over in the flight. Show voltage, so say you want to show the voltage on your main screen. Over low power, 5%, low power warning at 10%. So two different fail-safe settings. Possibly it'll come home at 10% and it will just land at 5% automatically, no matter where it is. Showing us our voltage, power NA, and our capacity is NA. So those are some of the things we can see with this. Really excited to test this out. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. You can see here that we now have 11 GPS, 10 or 11 GPS satellites. So it's actually saying GPS ready now, so perhaps it will let us do some more automated flights. Still a little bit wonky. Add waypoint. Okay, so at least it kind of centered on the craft. Can't do anything in the house. I'm going to be venturing into this further when we do our flight test in just a sec. But anyway, that's it. So disconnect from aircraft. We also have a slide here. We got takeoff. Okay, so it also has slide controls, very similar to DJI's slide controls. Maybe a little bit of polish that needs to happen with this, or maybe I just need to get outside and do it. Let's go ahead and exit this. Anyways, guys, I think that's as in-depth as I want to go in the house. Let's go ahead and charge everything up, get out to the park, and do our flight test, and then a pros and cons. Okay, guys, so we're at the park with AIBAO, whoever knows how to say it. I'll just say AIBAO, just because it sounds a little cooler than AIBAO. So anyway, we're at the park with this guy. Let's go ahead and do a flight test. So first things first, we go ahead and turn on the controller. So I'm just holding in the power button, and we hear that infamous WALKERA tone. Turn on the drone immediately afterwards, as soon as possible, and we should be all bound up, ready to go. I'm going to kind of just do the line of sight right now, and I'll have the video of the craft up. I got an SD card in there, And I may just put the screen up here when we do kind of our you know, this thing does the augmented reality gates and stuff. I may just put that up during that, but for this initial flight test I want to just see how it is line of sight first, and then I'll land it and we'll switch over and do some virtual reality gates and stuff. So I want to go ahead and open up the AIBAO Go app. So I'm opening this up. Now I do have data on this. This does have like 3G, 4G, and you know, so I'll be able to have maps update if we need to. So free video mode. Let's go ahead and just do a line of sight so you can see how fast this thing is. So I'm going to go into GPS mode. You can see that this thing has like a little deal here, which I went over kind of in the living room. I'm going to go to GPS and click it down, so it should be in GPS mode. Now let's see if we can do an auto takeoff in this mode. So I'm going to press this button here with the arrow to take off. That's not going to work. I forgot you have to arm first, so both sticks in. Okay, not going to work. Let's try in and out. There we go. Okay, so I was wrong. It's in and out. I'm going to press the takeoff button, and doesn't seem to be taking off. There we go. I had to press it twice. So let's see where it rises up to. So about head height. And I want to start video, so I'm going to press this little video button here. I'm hoping it's recording. I have no indication it's recording on this screen, which is kind of unfortunate. But I really do hope it's recording. So I'm in GPS mode. You can see how it's locked in here. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit to head height. Looks like maybe it stops at like 6 feet. 6-7 feet is where it, maybe 8 feet is where it rises up to. But anyway, here we go. So let's see how it's looking. There we are. Hello. It looks like it's hovering pretty good. It's maintaining its altitude okay. It's dropping a little bit, you can see there. Let's go ahead and see what the yaw is here. So I'm full yaw to the left. A little bit of wander. So that's going to be the yaw rate in regular GPS mode. And it is kind of wandering a little bit, unfortunately. Doesn't seem like it's locked in like as much as other GPS quads are. And so I haven't touched the altitude, and that's how much it's kind of dropped since it was hovering at eye level. So I'm going to pick it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and zoom around in GPS mode and see how fast this thing goes. And I'm remembering where I launched from. I'm trying to, at least. I think it was right around here. So as long as when we return home, if we can get somewhere around this area, we should be okay. I should have put like a little marker there. Anyways, full throttle up. Pretty darn quick. So as we can see on the screen, I'm not seeing really any telemetry except for, you know, how far we are away from home. Full throttle down. Letting off the stick now. So it locks in pretty good. Not bad. I'm seeing a little like occasional glitch in it. It's not quite as stable as some other quads. You can kind of see it glitching there. Just once in a while. Right now there's not much wind, maybe some 5-mile-per-hour variables, so the wind's kind of changing right now, but really no wind at this moment. Maybe a little bit coming from this direction. So anyway, that's what we can expect for our ascending and descending. Now I'm full pitch forward, and I'm just not touching the altitude. I'm just full pitch forward, going down to the ground, so that's weird. Doesn't look like it's really going to hold its altitude super good when you're low like that. Maybe because I was going into the wind. So now the wind's in front of it, and you can see it dropping. Whoa! So it actually kind of hit the ground there. I had to pick it up. So kind of what you can expect when you're going into the wind, it's going to start slowly dropping altitude. So you want to get up there kind of high. So that's what we can expect for our maximum speed in standard GPS mode. Not super quick, but you know, decent. All right, cool. So if we wanted to land it, let's just land really quick and relaunch so I can get a good return to home point. Okay, whoa. So that wind is kind of kicking it back a little bit. I was trying to let off the stick here, but it seemed to want to go back more. Okay, let's try to do an auto landing. So pressing this button here, and it should be doing an auto landing now. I'm not going to touch any buttons, and it turned off its propellers. So that's cool. So at least it does an auto turn off. I'm going to throw these keys down here now, and so we know exactly where it launched from. And let's do some kind of manual and sport flying real quick, see how it is. So arming again, and auto takeoff. That time I only had to press it once. The wind's kind of picking up. You can probably hear that wind in the mic. So there we go. So we have our launch point, and we're going to see how accurate it is when we do a return to home. Let's go ahead and go into, I'm going to flip this up to manual and then press in the button. So we're manual mode now. So it's going to do altitude hold, but you can see it drifting away. No GPS lock. See that? When I let off, it's not locking in the GPS, it just keeps going. So it'll drift with the wind, and you got to control it manually. But it does still have altitude hold. So that's cool. Looks like you can fly faster too. So back into GPS lock. I'm gonna let it drift towards us and then hit GPS lock and just see how it locks its position. So clicking down and pressing it now. You can see how it went ahead, and right when I clicked it into GPS mode, it stopped at that point. And now it's gonna fight to keep its position in space. So going down to motion right here and pressing it in, this is like a sport mode. So watch how much more pitch we get and how much faster this is. See how much more pitch that is? So a lot more pitch. We can really go for it on this one. Look how fast that is. Woo! So you're gonna eat battery, but you can go pretty quick. Seemed to be kind of picking up altitude on its own, which was kind of weird. I'm full throttle down and it's coming down pretty slow. The wind's probably influencing it. But there's full pitch forward, and when it reaches a certain speed, you can kind of see it level off. Whoa! Alright, so you saw that. It just, like, when I let off the stick, it really kind of went pretty high up on its axis. That was a little scary, actually. So anyway, that's sport mode. About the same yaw rate, maybe a little faster. Let's see what the full throttle up is. Maybe about the same. Full throttle down. Letting off the stick. And so it's kind of a little faster, sport mode. Alright, cool. So hopefully that video was recording. Unfortunately, there's no indication on the screen that it is, so I'm going to go ahead and press the video again. Hopefully that stopped the video. Maybe take a couple pictures, get up a little bit. This photo button here. Hopefully it's taking some photos. I'll have those flash up on the screen if it did. You can see how it's not going to be too stable in the wind. The video. You can probably see the video there. But I'm just kind of taking some photos. I want to kind of hurry up because I want to try these other modes here. Cool, so coming down, I'm going to go ahead and do a return to home and see how accurate it was. There's the keys there. I'm going to fly out way over there at the other side of the park and just kind of let it off. I'm going to go back into GPS mode just to be safe. And you can kind of see how stable it is there in the wind. I'm not recording this screen, but at least hopefully you can see it through the camera. So let's go ahead and do a return to home. So this button over here, we just kind of want to hold that in, I think. Yeah, we don't press it once, we hold it in. And you go ahead and you hear a beep. And I can see the quad coming on back. So it looks like it's okay, so now it's turning. and now it's facing us. So this quad is going to turn and face us. I can't yaw, and it looks like I can't control it at all with the right stick either. So let's see how accurate it is for where we took off where those keys are. So I'm gonna let it just come down on its own, and it's showing here on the screen we've got you know, our height's a little wonky. It's saying it's less than a meter right now high, and it's way up there. So maybe there's a little strangeness with the barometer on this one. I'm not sure. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's wrong. That was the distance from home. The height does look right. It's on the right there. So it just landed, shut off its propellers, but it's quite a bit far away from those keys, man. Not super accurate GPS there. It's supposed to have a dual antenna, I believe, GPS for more accuracy, but that's, you know, that's like 8 feet. So not the best I've seen. I did do a compass calibration at home, away from any electronics, and it looks like this one's not going to be super accurate in return to home, but at least it got close. I'm not going to, you know, discount it that too much for that little inaccuracy, but not the best I've seen. Cool. So let me go ahead and get this screen recording, and we'll go and do some virtual gates and try that ground station if we have enough power. Okay, so you know what, that was kind of a failure. I was trying to use this app called iShow, where it bypasses Apple's problem with enabling you to record the screen. So kind of frustrated with Apple right now. They don't really have any way, for security reasons they say, to record the screen on the iPad or any of their devices for that matter. So a little bit frustrating, kind of a dig for Apple there. So the iShow doesn't work. I had it working earlier, but they always lock it down and you have to install it again and install it again. So I couldn't get it to work again. So unfortunately, I'm just going to be recording this screen here, so hopefully you guys can see it. But I want to try these air gates, this virtual augmented reality. So let's go ahead and get back into the AIBAO Go program, get connected. You can see we got the sound going, and let's go ahead and go into racing. So play, and let's see how it goes. So we should have GPS. I'm going to go ahead and go into sport mode, just so I have a little bit more speed. Touch the start. Let's go ahead and launch. And do an auto takeoff. Okay, so let's go ahead and record the camera on the drone. Hopefully that's recording. Let's go through some of these air gates, see what we can do. Cool, so going forward, let's just follow this course here. It looks like it's kind of close to the ground. I just want to go as fast as possible. Whoa, so you're going to want to have a lot of room for this. Into the goal here. Nice. So you can see on the top right, victory, goal. Let's go ahead and get back close to us. There it is. Let's try that again. So that's what you can expect for kind of the racing. You kind of unlock these things. You can go to the next level. Let's go back. And you can see how I unlocked that. I got 2 stars, depends on your speed. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go battle. Let's try this one. So play, touch the start. And here we have ships that we can shoot. So I have kind of a cockpit view here, and there's a little reticle there on the bottom left where it's showing me where these ships are, and they're shooting back at me too. So this is kind of neat. It's shooting automatically when it gets them in front of you. This is where you want to be super careful, because you can crash into somebody, you know. So you want to be super careful. I'm gonna go back into regular GPS just so it's a little slower. And there's a ship there. Let's go a little more forward. So I'm hoping you guys can see this. It's shooting missiles and lasers. on its own. I'm not pressing any buttons, I'm just controlling the craft. So this is kind of neat. Definitely different and kind of a neat use of the technology. But you just want to have a really wide open area. You can see it there over there. And I'm getting kind of close to myself. So you really want to be able to have some fast reaction time and have a really big open space, or you could really hurt somebody. Anyway, we finished that. We got victory on the screen. Let's go back. And the last thing we're going to try is collection. So this should be like a little mini game where we kind of collect things. Like there's some coins. We got sound effects. Whoa, what the heck happened there? So they basically, I kind of got disconnected for a second. Not sure what happened there. Anyway, let's reset this. There we go. So there's our coins. There's a box, points. So it looks like you got a time limit. And you just want to collect all these coins and bags and stuff. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of variation in your height. And you can see how I'm getting like really close to the ground. So this is not working quite as good as I thought it would. It looks like I'm having, a little bit of maybe barometer issues perhaps. But anyway, so it said time limit reached. Anyways, that's what you can expect for the Go app, So let's get back out of there. And I'm going to come back. Let me get visual connection again with it. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go ahead and do like a return to home. So with this one, if you're close and you do a return to home, let me get out of this app. Let's try return to home. So I'm pressing home. You see how it's not going up? So I think if you're like within 30 meters or so, maybe less, it will just come back at its height and then it will land. So it won't go up first. So be careful. I think that's if you do fly in the house, just in case, it'll come straight back. Whoa! Okay, so it kind of flipped over when it tried to land, and I had to put the throttle all the way down to stop the propellers from spinning. So that's a little con there. That's not so great. Anyway, let's go ahead and put on the ground station software and see how that works. Since it kind of flipped over, I'm going to go ahead and power everything back down and then restart, just in case the accelerometer or something got messed up. So I'm just turning it off, and then I'm going to go ahead and restart, and let's get the ground station up. And the craft's back on. You saw that time when it returned, it landed over there. So it was about maybe 5-6 feet away that time, a little closer than the last time, but not as accurate as I would have expected. So anyway, let's go into drones, and we want to open up the WALKERA drone app now. This is utilizing the ground station software. Let's see how. I heard this one isn't super complete, but we're going to just try it anyway and see what happens. So now we're connecting. I can see that it looks like the position over here is pretty accurate on the screen. For some reason we're having a problem connecting to our FPV, which is kind of unfortunate. Let's go ahead and get out of this app and try that again. So close that up, go back into WALKERA drone, go to connect. There we go. Okay, so a little bit strange. The camera worked that time, but now I'm clicking on the map, and now I don't know where the heck I am, like out in the ocean or something. So that's a little bit weird, and that kind of scares me. Anyways, clicking on the image, you can see we're transferring back between the video and the map. Let's see, I want to go into mode, and I want to start recording. So it should be recording onto the card again. And let's see if we can do what kind of launching we can do with this. So say I want to launch, I'm just tapping on the screen and I'm going to go ahead and drag this to launch here. So that's not going to work. Let's see if we arm first. And then try that again. So launch, dragging up. And that didn't, yeah, okay, it did work. Okay, so same thing if you kind of press that launch button. Also has a return to home button there. And I've got 16 GPS satellites. I'm getting kind of low on power, so we better do this thing kind of quick. We can see we have position hold up here, and we got our time since we launched and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's see what else we can do. I'm just gonna, whoa, it's kind of dropping a little bit. It's kind of weird that it's, the map over here is not really showing where I'm at, so I don't know what's going on with that. It says it's on satellite here. Should be correct. Let's try circle fly. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna just press it here. Start. That's kind of weird. Kind of doing a left and right. Weird little jitter. Let's exit out of there. And I don't even want to try the waypoints because I don't want this thing to fly away in the ocean by accident. So I'm not going to even try that. So it looks like it's a little incomplete. I did do a compass calibration at home, and just like it just looks like it's kind of incomplete. But anyway, okay, here's our settings. I think I went over through all this stuff in the house. Let's try to return to home. Let me fly out here. Maybe a little range test or something. I'll fly. I hope it's recording still. Let me go ahead and fly away the heck out here. How do I get back to my non-waypoint screen? I guess just there. Okay, clicked on it, and now we're back into the FPV screen. Let's just go ahead and go over to this other part. Try not to get over any people. And let's see how far we can get. So on the bottom here, we're distance from us. Horizontal speed is 1.5 feet per second. Vertical speed is 0 right now. So it gives you some stuff down there, some information. And as you can see, we can't pitch the camera down. This is not electronic stabilized, so it's a little bit shaky. Hopefully this is recording, so I'll have that up on the screen. And okay, so we're 7.5 volts up here. Whoa, what the heck is it doing? That was kind of weird. It kind of did a wobble. Yikes. Whoa, it's doing wobbles again. Oh shit. Low voltage. Okay, we gotta get back. It's doing some kind of weird wobble. Maybe something strange in the wind. Who knows? I don't want it to drop on anybody, so I'm gonna get back home ASAP here. Okay, come on. Will you come home? Holy crap. That was kind of scary. It looks like it's returning to home on its own. So a little bit weird and unstable out at range. It's got 16 satellites and everything looks good up here. So it's kind of returning on its own, but what I can do is I can adjust the yaw. Let's see if it's coming down. It's just kind of hovering there. Looks like it just got kind of close, and it's kind of hovering there. So looks like it comes back, and then it will just start to hover. But man, that's a little bit funky how it's doing this weird, some weird maneuvers up there. Let's go ahead and return to home. Let me get a couple of snapshots if I can. Oh, it's dropping now. So it's dropping, but I can still control it. I guess in its low voltage state, you can still control it. But look at that. What the heck is it doing, man? It's low voltage and it's freaking out. I got my... There it goes. I guess it thought its home position was over there. So it seems like it's trying to return home. Like if I force it this way, it's trying to get back somewhere, like its home position or something. So it looks like it's gonna land. I'm full throttle up and I can't control it. And it's just beeping like it's low voltage. So 6.96 volts. It looks like when it reaches 7 volts, I heard that beeping just went off when it went back up to above 7 volts. So this one, gosh, you know, I wouldn't really trust this out at distance very much. It looks like it gets a little wonky. I know I did everything right on this. Let's go ahead and stop the recording. Hopefully we got some video recording. Didn't get to do any pictures, but you can see how incomplete this ground station app is. I do have data on this tablet, and what was strange was when I first tried to connect, where the heck is this? It's way out, it's way over in like, where the heck is that? That's like in the Gulf of Mexico somewhere. So strange. So it thinks its position is way the heck over there. So kind of weird. So when the video wouldn't connect, it did show on the map the correct location, but when the video connected, now it's showing me way the heck over here. Hopefully you guys can see that. And that's not good. Getting a little wonky when I went out to speed. I guess let's just go over pros and cons now. I will have that video up there, and I think I took a couple pictures when I was a little bit lower so you guys can see that. But let's just kind of go through a little bit of a pros and cons. Let me turn this guy off so nobody gets hurt. For the money, it looks like it's kind of incomplete. That's unfortunate for WALKERA, because I think I reviewed I remember reviewing the Xiaomi Mi drone, and it was kind of like that too, where it was just it was released kind of incomplete. So that's not good for this company. I'd recommend to kind of hold off on this one until perhaps they get these bugs worked out. I mean, it looked like it was going to crash at times when I was up there, and maybe it gets a little wonky on low voltage. Perhaps maybe there's not enough power to certain components. So that's definitely a con in my book. The flight time, I'll go ahead and have that flight time up. I'll go ahead and compile all that together, all the flight time, and then I'll have that flash up on the screen right now so you guys can see that. But it's a good step in the right direction. A big con is the video is unstabilized, so there's not even any kind of electronic image stabilization, which something at this price would kind of have now. You know, like the Parrot kind of drones have image stabilization, and you know, even DJI and Parrot, their apps work really good as far as their ground station software. This one looks kind of buggy and glitchy, so right at this moment I can't really recommend this one. I'm just being honest, you know, save somebody from buying it and being really disappointed. But hopefully in the near future they'll get this stuff worked out. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed that review. Again, I didn't try the circle mode, but it does work. I tried it at my house, and you just go down to circle here, you click in, and it kind of does a circle, and you can pull your right stick in and out and left and right, and it goes faster, slower, enlarges the circle, and it will just circle around the point. This doesn't seem to do anything in this version of the controller. The takeoff and landing, you have to be armed first, and sometimes when you press it, it doesn't work. You have to press it again, so that's also a little bit probably buggy in the software. It is a nice, I mean, the form factor, they got this thing down really nice. It's really pretty. I just wish it kind of worked up to par of how good it looked. The gimbal, these two gimbal buttons don't work in this version because there is no gimbal on here. There is a connection port for it on the bottom. Again, no sonar sensors. This is just like an open box here. There's nothing inside. You push these in, and these things will just fall in, and it's just like an empty port. So feels a little incomplete to me. We'll see how the photos and videos were. Again, you know, looks good. It's just the software just seems like it needs some work. So it's kind of like they released it too soon, and it's going to kind of damage their reputation, for unfortunately. But anyway guys, I hope you liked the review, and do a lot of reviews like this, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you are interested in just seeing this, what it looks like, what the prices are and the specs, go ahead and I'll have that link down below in the description of the video so you can check it out for yourself. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.